Hi, Assalamualaikum. So today in this short roleplay, we will be discussing about minutes and agendas and what they are. Furthermore, we will also discuss about the differences and similarities of minutes and agendas. And this roleplay is based off of a question and answer show which has 4 speakers and 1 host. I will be the host, and the other 4 speakers are Hazi Iskandar, Hafiz, Maya, and also Darshana. We hope you enjoy the mini roleplay. Welcome everyone to the question and answer show where experts will answer your questions on a certain topic. So for this week's topic, we will be talking about minutes and agendas in a meeting. We will start off with the first question for our first speaker, which is Hafiz. Hafiz, can you please explain what agenda is?
Well, thank you, Amira, for the lovely question. Well, agenda is a list of things that needs to be done or discussed during a meeting. For your information, before the meeting started, agenda must be informed to all guests before they arrive to let them familiarize with the content they will be discussing. Not only that, participants can also prepare accordingly and will not be caught unawares. Things that it makes up for an agenda, it is prepared before holding the meetings. It also must be read out at the beginning of the meeting. It does not require to be approved by the members concerned, as well as being signed by the secretary of the meeting with the date.
Thank you, Hafiz, for that wonderful explanation of what an agenda is in a meeting. So next, we'll be moving on to the second question, which I will ask our second speaker, Maya. The question is, what can you explain to us about minutes in a meeting?
First of all, I would like to thank Miss Amira for asking me the questions. My name is Elisha Maya binti Muhammad Nasir, and for today I am going to be talking about the minutes in a meeting. So, minutes is a term that is used to refer to an official record of a proceedings during a formal meeting. This minute serves as a record of what happened during a meeting. It can help to remind people after some time if they forgot about something that is being discussed in a meeting. Other than that, minutes also contain the name of the venue, the date, and the time of the meeting, as well as the list of all those who attended the meeting. Minutes can be very useful for those who cannot attend the meeting because they can read the minutes and get the gist of what had been discussed in the previous meeting or in the upcoming meeting. There are 2 types of minutes, which is the first one is agenda-based minutes or reports, and the second one is the informal meeting minutes or summaries. So the first one is agenda-based minutes. This minutes is taken at the scheduled meetings, which there is an agenda. So an agenda is being firstly distributed before the meeting or announced by the chairperson and will be followed up by the minutes. And the second one is the informal meeting minutes, which is an informal and a simple minutes written just to take note of the decisions taken and the follow-up actions and responsibilities made by the after the meeting. And these records are sometimes produced by using just a simple template. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya, for the explanation about minutes. Now we will be moving on to the third question of this show, which will be given to Hazik. The question is, what can you explain to us about the differences of agendas and minutes in a meeting?
Thank you for the question, Amira. I will explain about the differences between minutes and agenda. Agenda needs to be prepared before the meeting and it should be read out before the meeting starts. The minutes, on the other hand, are quite different as it should be written according to the flow of the meeting, and minutes should be read out in the next meeting as a recap of what have been discussed in the previous meeting. The content of each report is different too. For further explanation, the agenda contains information that needs to be discussed in a meeting, while in minutes, everything that has been discussed is written in it. Next, The format for each writing is also different. For example, in the agenda, other than the topic of the meeting, we should include date, time, and location of the meeting, while in minutes, we should add the attendance. Take note who is absent in the meeting, and yeah, I hope my explanation about the difference between agenda and minutes is clear.
Thank you, Haziq, for answering the question. Now we will be moving on to the last question of the show, which will be given to our speaker, Tarshana. The question is, what are the similarities of agenda and minutes in a meeting?
Thank you for the good question, Amira. Well, there are only few similarities between agenda and minutes. Firstly, both the reports are required for an effective meeting. Agenda is a report which will be prepared before a meeting, as it is a list of items that will be discussed or acted upon during a meeting, whereas minutes is a report which will be prepared after a meeting, as it is an instant written record of a meeting. However, both the reports are very important for a well-organized meeting, and both the reports should be included in meeting documents. Secondly, both the reports will be prepared by the secretary. The secretaries should know their role and play their position well in order to run a successful meeting. This involves activities before, during, and after a meeting. The secretary is the person who will prepare the agenda before a meeting as well as the minutes after the meeting. Lastly, both the reports should be approved by the superiors. After preparing the agenda and the minutes, the secretary should submit the reports to the chairman to approve them. The reports can be filed only when the chairman approves them. That's all from me. Thank you.
With the last question being answered, we will now have to wrap up the show. Thank you all so much for watching the Q&A show, and stay tuned for the next episode of Q&As.